An impedance-protected motor is not acceptable for use in a Class 1 Division 2 area. NEC Section 501.8 B outlines the requirements for electrical equipment installed in Class 1 Division 2 locations. This section mandates that all equipment used in such hazardous environments must be approved by a nationally recognized testing laboratory, or NRTL. Nationally recognized testing laboratories include organizations such as Underwriters Laboratories, or all, the Canadian Standards Association, or CSA, and FM Global, formerly known as Factory Mutual. Fundamental principle is that any electrical equipment intended for use in a Class 1 Division 2 location must undergo rigorous testing and evaluation by an independent, accredited laboratory. This ensures that the equipment is designed, constructed, and tested to specific safety standards that mitigate the risk of ignition in potentially explosive atmospheres. The NRTL approval process involves a comprehensive assessment of the equipment's design, materials, construction, and performance characteristics. The laboratory conducts a series of tests to verify that the equipment meets the applicable safety standards for use in the designated hazardous location. These tests may include, but are not limited to, temperature testing, electrical insulation testing, and mechanical strength testing. The objective is to determine whether the equipment poses an unacceptable risk of igniting flammable gases, vapors, or dusts that may be present in the environment. Once the equipment has successfully completed all required testing and evaluation, the NRTL will issue a certification or listing indicating that the equipment is approved for use in the specified Class 1 Division 2 location. This certification typically includes a label or marking that is affixed to the equipment, providing clear evidence of its approval status. The label will typically include the NRTL's name or logo, as well as the specific hazardous location classification for which the equipment is approved. This allows inspectors and other qualified personnel to readily identify equipment that has been properly evaluated and approved for use in hazardous locations. Self-certification, on the other hand, refers to a situation where the manufacturer of the equipment asserts that their product meets the applicable safety standards without undergoing independent testing and evaluation by an NRTL. In this scenario, the manufacturer takes full responsibility for ensuring that the equipment complies with the relevant requirements. While self-certification may be permissible in some non-hazardous locations, it is not acceptable for equipment used in Class 1 Division 2 areas. The NEC explicitly requires an RTL approval for equipment installed in these hazardous environments. The rationale behind this requirement is to provide an additional layer of safety and oversight. By requiring independent testing and certification, the NEC aims to minimize the risk of using equipment that may not be suitable for use in potentially explosive atmospheres. The NRTL approval process ensures that the equipment has been thoroughly evaluated by a qualified third party, providing confidence that it meets the necessary safety standards. In the absence of NRTL approval, there is no independent verification that the equipment is safe for use in a Class 1 Division 2 location. This lack of independent oversight raises concerns about the potential for equipment failure or malfunction which could lead to an ignition and subsequent explosion. Therefore, the NEC mandates NRTL approval to ensure that all equipment used in Class 1 Division 2 areas has been rigorously tested and evaluated by a qualified laboratory. The specific requirements for NRTL approval may vary depending on the type of equipment and the applicable safety standards. However, the general principle remains the same: all equipment must be independently tested and certified to ensure that it meets the necessary safety requirements for use in the designated hazardous location. It is important to note that the NEC is a comprehensive set of electrical safety standards that are widely adopted and enforced throughout the United States. The NEC is updated on a regular basis to reflect advancements in technology and changes in industry best practices. As a result, it is essential for electrical engineers, contractors, and other qualified personnel to stay up to date on the latest requirements of the NEC. Failure to comply with the NEC can result in serious consequences, including fines, project delays, and potential safety hazards. In addition to the NEC, there may be other applicable codes and standards that govern the installation and use of electrical equipment in hazardous locations. For example, the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, publishes a number of standards that address the fire protection and safety requirements for various types of hazardous environments. It is important to consult with qualified professionals to determine the specific codes and standards that apply to a particular project or installation. When selecting equipment for use in the Class 1 Division 2 area, it is essential to carefully review the manufacturer's specifications and documentation to ensure that the equipment is properly approved by an NRTL. The NRTL label or marking should be clearly visible on the equipment, indicating that it has been independently tested and certified for use in the specified hazardous location. If there is any doubt about the approval status of a piece of equipment, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector. These professionals can help to verify the equipment's approval status and ensure that it meets the applicable code requirements. In summary, impedance-protected motors are not acceptable for use in Class 1 Division 2 areas. The NEC requires that all equipment used in these hazardous environments be approved by a nationally recognized testing laboratory, such as UL, CSA, or FM. Self-certification by the manufacturer without NRTL approval does not meet the requirements of the NEC and would not be considered acceptable. It's important to reiterate that the National Electrical Code Section 501.8 B is very specific about equipment used in Class 1 Division 2 locations. It states that equipment must be approved and this approval must come from a nationally recognized testing laboratory. These laboratories, NRTLs for short, have the expertise and resources to thoroughly evaluate equipment for use in hazardous locations. Their approval signifies that the equipment has met rigorous safety standards designed to prevent explosions and fires. The absence of NRTL approval means that the equipment has not been subjected to this independent evaluation. While a manufacturer may claim that their equipment is suitable for Class 1 Division 2 locations based on their own testing or design considerations, this self-certification is not sufficient to meet the requirements of the NEC. The NEC mandates independent verification by an NRTL to ensure the safety of electrical installations in hazardous locations. Impedance protection is a specific design feature of some electric motors. It's intended to prevent the motor from overheating in the event of a stall or overload. While impedance protection can enhance the safety of a motor in general applications, it does not, by itself, qualify the motor for use in a Class 1 Division 2 location. The requirements for Class 1 Division 2 locations are much more stringent and encompass a wide range of design and performance criteria, including the ability to contain or prevent explosions. The key takeaway is that any equipment used in a Class 1 Division 2 location must have that NRTL approval clearly indicated. This is typically done through a listing mark or label on the equipment itself. This mark serves as visible evidence that the equipment has been independently tested and certified to meet the applicable safety standards. When selecting equipment for a Class 1 Division 2 location, always look for that NRTL approval mark. If you don't see it, the equipment is not suitable for that environment, regardless of any other claims made by the manufacturer. Selecting the right equipment is crucial for ensuring safety in hazardous locations. Failure to do so can have serious consequences, including the risk of explosions, fires, and injuries. The NEC requirement for NRTL approval is a cornerstone of electrical safety in these environments, and it's essential to adhere to this requirement to protect people and property. Remember, compliance with the NEC is not just a matter of following the rules. It's about ensuring the safety of everyone who works in or around hazardous locations. By selecting equipment that meets the NEC requirements, you're contributing to a safer and more secure work environment.